I'm free now, somehow. Heading away from that last chapter back east. It's my former life, you know? My former life that I leave behind me back there in New York City. Yeah, I'd gone to school there. I got a scholarship, took out some loans, got a degree. Despite the degree, I didn't have any luck finding a job. I ended up broke in the big city, and that's not a good feeling. I was living in a dark, strange place, and my roommate, who took care of the rent, and he also happened to be an addict, well, he wanted the rent money quick. So I made an inventory of everything, anything I had that I could sell to pay the rent, get a bite to eat. You know, I had a lot of books. Yeah, books. During my college days, I'd bought a lot of books on the street from a street bookseller, a smiling southerner whose name I've now forgotten. I called him the Bookman. I decided, well, I'd do the same. Finally, I arrived at the spot that I'd secretly chosen on my reconnoiterings the day before.
Кричи, please! Кричи! Ай!
I penciled in my prices and laid out my books. And by God, they came. Readers from the nearby neighborhoods somehow sniffed out my books and descended upon them. I was saved, snatched from the brink of destitution by my friends Goethe, Camus, Rimbaud, Heidegger. Well, I set up again the next day, and again the next. And it wasn't long before I met other booksellers from all over the city who had also come to West 4th Street to set up shop.
Good morning, sir.
Ah, good morning.
What the fuck is happening out here today? Where is everybody at this hour?
Shouldn't be out here.
It's gonna rain, isn't it? Soon.
It's gonna rain. Yeah, it's gonna rain. It's really gonna rain. It ain't gonna be like
One of the first booksellers I met out there was Everett. Everett was an outdoorsman, and he was impervious to the cold. He'd wear shorts and Chinese slippers in all weather, every day of the year. Rick Sherman. Rick was into Timothy Leary and Robert Anton Wilson, so he was trying to rewire his consciousness through sheer non-exertion. He was an aspiring magician, and he practiced his magic tricks at the bookstand and helped us pass the time. And then there was Alan. Alan had some of the best books around, but he was a little bit temperamental.
So you've looked at enough pictures that you should go to the screen. I'm joking. Get the fuck out of here. What? Get out of here. What? Just leave.
You want to sell me a book?
Absolutely not.
Who else? Paul. Paul was the youngest bookseller on the block, even younger than me, so he was the kid.
Jesus, I should have brushed my hair for this one.
And then there was Al, the oldest bookseller on the block. He sold only maps and atlases, so we called him Al Mappo.
What kind of cigars do you smoke?
Philly blunts.
Polish Joe, smoker of 100 cigarettes, had no regular spot. He was a drifter. He sold on West 4th Street, 3rd Avenue, St. Mark's Place, wherever the wind would blow him. Joe was often full of doubt and was sometimes unlucky in the book trade. Boris was from Russia. He was a ruthless businessman. He disappeared a while back, and no one's heard from him since. Thomas loved his books, and he dreamed of opening his own bookstore one day. He took care of his books like they were his children. He'd find a beat-up, unwanted volume of Pythagoras, erase all the blemishes, smooth out all the creases, meticulously repair the spine, add a dab of glue, and then give it a new home. I never once saw Thomas eat or drink. He seemed to somehow derive his nourishment from his books, living off of them as a lichen lives off of a rock. All right, so there were a lot of other booksellers out there, but one of the most successful, the one that I learned the most from, was Peter Whitney, bookseller extraordinaire. A lot of people seek good fortune. Well, Pete seemed to be good fortune himself. He had the touch. He was also a hard worker.
That one there, Treasury of Art and Literature, if you hold it long enough, somebody will buy it. These other two are going to be real hard to sell.
There were others like Zach. He lived in New Jersey, land of the 10-cent book. Tony was from the Czech Republic, and he played a mean guitar on the side. Emil told me he escaped, but never said from where. And then there was myself, true bookman in my own right, although in the beginning I was green. There was another street, another strip, where booksellers hung out, and that was only a few blocks away, over on 6th Avenue, the Avenue of the Americas. Marv was the spiritual leader, the angel of the group.
Bam! Man, I saw the light from there on. I saw little devils just flying out of my head. Because I said, that was it. I didn't want nothing to do with drinking and drugs no more. No more. As a matter of fact, I was a recovered alcoholic right then.
The guys out on 6th Avenue had a different style, different method. They even had different books. But we were fundamentally the same, being booksellers.
I want to sell you these books. There's 65 books here. Everyone in this university must read these authors, otherwise they'll just leave here like illiterate. All right?
We got some good titles, but overall, it's a bad batch.
I just think a lot of them are not marketable, a high percentage, and there's not that they're bad. And when I go to people's houses and apartments, I say the same thing. Just because I'm not buying it, it's not a reflection of your taste or the fact that the books are bad in any way. It's just a reflection of what I think I can sell.
I'm gonna offer the guy $4 for all these books right here. Because I gotta make some money. Yeah. You understand? So I'm offering $4 for them.
They cheap.
Yeah, we ain't got no money. We trying to make money.
They are fucking cheap. No, I
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
that's
6,
never 15 cents then.
That'll be $1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll be $1.80.
And so the street became a market, a selling ground, like the ancient souk. Innocent street corners all around the city were transformed into atoms of commerce.
Check them out. Hey, here we go, over here. We got some. He's working. Almost went to work. There's a lot of, what the hell would they call a thing like this? It's got a lot of pictures, like,
Encyclopedia?
No, not a cyclopedia, like, photography, like.
I see these books.
Well, they were hidden.
They've been there weeks all the time.
No, I've had them about a week.
And I come through here and I never see them.
What are they?
They're, it's a set of series of Eastern religion. You see Alan Watts here?
Oh,
it's a 3-volume set. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you this one if you pay full price for these 3. Give me 25 for the 3.
Oh.
They came down here to harass us today. They harass us. Well, here, take this out of my hand.
How are you, man?
Fine, thank you.
What are you looking for today?
Nothing special, just looking.
Je suis connu dans tout le monde, alors là, voyez-vous, alors, bien sûr. Vive la France, oh, il n'y a rien là-bas. Hein,
Was it a camera?
Yeah, I'm just taking some pictures.
You know what they did?
Watch my stuff for like chicken sandwich.
Chicken sandwich?
The preferred lunch, 4th Street Booksellers.
What is that?
The chicken sandwich with white sauce.
How'd you do?
I wasn't very well. It was kind of short.
I know. Same here.
Yeah.
I was down in the end, but I didn't do very well at all.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey, Jay, what do you call it? Zachary said he did well or something.
Really?
He said he prepared. He had like all kinds of illustrated books or things like that, you know. So.
After a day or two of selling, your table would grow stale, and it was time to get more books, time to hunt again. More books was the mantra of the street bookseller. I went with Peter Whitney on his rounds in New Jersey, land of the 10-cent book.
Seen books anywhere?
I'm not really looking for them, but...
Well, they're around. It's all junk.
Where?
I can tell you from here, it's all junk, popular fiction. If I find 3 or 4 books in here, I'll be lucky. Looks like today's gonna be a washout. Well, we'll take a Dean Koontz. There's a popular fiction you can sell.
She always finds these sorry guys that are no good for her, and I decided, I was like, well, if I can find her a man that would be like a fantasy to her, maybe she would feel better about herself and find her a man.
Ferlinghetti.
what's that?
Ferlinghetti.
Hidden away, huh?
Uh-huh. As if it were something obscene.
But they were more than just inanimate objects. I mean, they had a life. They had a soul. And the beauty of the book game was we didn't need a license to sell them, thanks to the good old First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Because the First Amendment guarantees every American's right to distribute literature and also protects our freedom of speech. Sure, the First Amendment is a great idea, but all I really wanted to do was hang out, read books, and make a buck.
Between Leonard and Jerry, we were able to make it through that awful afternoon, and I was able to fly out that evening to my father, warmed by their love and affection. That's what makes this episode my favorite.
And what is that? What's that from? Star Trek Memoirs?
Star Trek Memories.
I'll sell Jonathan Livingston Seagull or Adolf Hitler, whichever you like. People will buy it. It's good to them. They have a right to read it.
Paul, you have anything on floral arranging?
Nature goes very quickly. Sometimes you can't find them either. They're all sold out is what it amounts to.
No, these guys are all right. They might be cheap, but they're all right. You know they got to be all right. Look who they got on the table. Elvis Presley.
You know anybody that deals in Elvis memorabilia, you know, books and magazines?
Different books sold on different parts of town. On 6th Avenue, you had more comic books, porno magazines. West 4th Street was heavy into literature, philosophy, and psychology.
Which is the bestseller? Well, let's see. What's the bestseller? Is Naked Lunch. It's a bestseller. On the Road's good.
The Beats.
The Beats, yeah.
Does beat and occult stuff sell best? Not really. Fiction sells best, doesn't it? Yeah, fiction.
Fiction and bad religion.
Fiction and bad religion.
Kurt Vonnegut. They're buying familiar stuff. They're buying familiar books. Or if you have really kick-ass religion philosophy like Dave and Alan up there, real heavyweight stuff.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, of course you'll sell that. To like the yeah guy, you know, the professor, the guy who comes around with a top coat on, he goes, yeah, yeah.
You mean they actually stood there and they sold these things, these books they're called?
Oh, yeah, books are going to make a comeback, but right now books are headed in the way of the opera. It's like the opera.
Really?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? The golden.
What did you buy, ma'am?
Eudora Welty.
Excellent.
Golden apples, right.
It's a good day when you sell Eudora Welty. It's
Really?
nice.
Right there, The Great Gatsby.
Ah.
That is a structural novel, and it's a depiction of America at a turning point in the 1920s. It was the greatest American. Yeah, I mean, you got to give a word to Moby Dick.
What is this? It's just like they stole it out of the coffin?
No, what it says in some research is that, you know, Christ vanished between the age of 12 and 30, and nothing's really written about what he did during those years. Though there's records of him in Tibet and in India studying body mastery, like he became a yogin.
Black and white magic.
Yeah,
one on the Secret of Atlantis, the Secret of Atlantis.
Right, Secret of Atlantis.
Which I haven't seen out here. See, I haven't seen the Secret. See, if I had seen it before and bought it, then I wouldn't have bought it.
What's that?
The Secret of Atlantis.
Castanedas, yeah, 2 Castanedas, and let's see, Animal Farm and Catcher in the Rye.
Tom Robbins, Skinny Legs and all.
Biofeedback, self-regulation.
Found a lot of interesting things in books that I've sold. Love letters, old train tickets. Once I had a volume of Ulysses with a 4-leaf clover between every page.
Which means they actually made the recipes, more than once, plenty of stains. Made, this one not worth the effort. This, no. It was made, but not liked.
We weren't all as obsessed with books as Thomas. We didn't all love books, but most of us at least liked books. And they had a weight, a feel. They had a smell. They had a soul. It made them seem somehow alive. And that's why I needed to be around them. And that's what our customers went for, too. Our customers.
I don't know if you consider the buyer to be somewhat of an addict, which I think a lot of us are. We'd probably just find another addiction. I don't want to call it a sickness, you know, but I started to say it's a sickness, but I would say it's more like somewhere between a passion and a compulsion, you know.
Well, it wasn't long before I became a friendly neighborhood bookseller, and soon I attracted a group of regulars.
How are you?
How's everything?
Good. How are you doing?
All right. Anything new with the film?
What are you doing on Bloomsday? You be around, or?
I don't know. I want to check out one of those marathon readings.
I'd be into that.
I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a book, well, The Subterraneans, I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
And one of the editions, paperback in 1966, was a Cheapy Grove press. And I got paid $35 to model for the cover. Jason just asked what books do I like? Haiku. Good Zen, not D.T. Suzuki. Academic Zen, koans.
We want in on film.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
Two excellent choices.
Let me read in English now.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Instead of?
Portuguese.
Out of 20?
just another case of the kind of magnetism that a bookseller projects, kind of pulling in a woman and then making her escort or companion feel very uncomfortable. I don't claim to feel proud of it or even know where it comes from, but it's something you have to live with.
Why do you like buying from the booksellers?
Because I'm a seeker of knowledge. I want to know all the knowledge in the universe.
I was right in the middle of it about 2 weeks ago and I lost it.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, this one was great. That one was great.
Especially when you have a sentence like, Nietzsche proudly despises his own emotional illusions.
It was a good
yeah.
Miriam was one of our most loyal customers. She was a historian, a true scholar. She'd been working 20 years to correct the chronology of history, preceding the conquests of Alexander the Great, and thereby hoped to determine when and if the Word of God might once again reach the ears of modern-day prophets.
Ancilla to classical reading, I got that from Dave. Nature of Greek Myths from Dave. Diogenes Laertius, I got that from Thomas. Human Sacrifice in History and Today. I think I got this from Tony. Looks like Tony to me. This I got from you, a manual of spherical and practical astronomy, 2 volumes. Then I have this book that I bought from Everett, which smelled a little mildewy when I bought it.
Oh, yeah?
And I did everything I could think of. I cleaned it off with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I put it in baking soda or boric acid or whatever it is, and it still smells.
Really?
You can't get rid of the smell. A revolution in physics.
But of course, not everyone who came to the bookstand was a pleasure to deal with.
Don't lean on the table, man. It's gonna break the table. You know what I mean?
I have been over here 5 times looking for you.
The weather's been bad, but I'll be...
And all the days that I came out, the weather was nice.
Well, I can't be here every day, you know. Yeah. It was only last Friday. You were going to come after the weekend on Monday.
I know, and I did.
Yeah.
And you weren't here, and I came on Tuesday, you weren't here.
Yeah,
I came on Wednesday, you weren't here. I came on Thursday, you weren't here.
Yeah, I was out a few of those days. Did you come in the mornings?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm there to make money.
Yeah.
All right?
Sure. Not here for
Nobody, they only come around looking for bargains.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? It's bargain day for them. You know, only when it's convenient for them, they come around.
Oh.
But it don't work like that. You come around every time, you know.
Yeah, it was a mistake. The price
come
because we
on.
bought, I am not kidding, we bought these from a book dealer.
It was $4.50 in the
Right,
back.
that's what we paid for it, exactly. I mean, my philosophy is really you didn't buy it when you put it back. I was definitely going to sell it to you for $7.50 because it was too late as far as I was concerned not to sell it. But it's, you did put it back. And
But that was the nature of the beast. The book table was open to any and all comers.
So there's Louis the Loser. What the fuck you doing here with that cat?
Aha! What about the Romulans that were trying to kill all the members of...
This guy has been here reading this book for about 20 minutes, and I want him to buy it, because if he buys it, I could leave, feel good about myself. So if he buys it, I'm out of here. But he really should buy it. He's almost read the whole thing. Yeah, it's a good one. You too. I could see his point. Why should he buy it? I mean,